Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice on the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is all about the library. Could you save a lot of money by using it? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books. And in spite of the way too many books that I have, I used the library a lot last year. In fact, I used the library to borrow 56 books last year. Now, not all of these were books that were physical books. Some of them were on the Libby app, which I very much discovered this past year, mainly for audiobooks, which I prefer to ebooks. And I also used BorrowBox because they had quite a few new release audiobooks when I was trying to listen to some of the books for the Booker Prize. So I've included those as well. And I also included any ebooks that I borrowed from Libby. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about was whether or not it is worth going to the library. Could you save a lot of money? I had a feeling the answer was yes, because books are expensive. The question I wanted to ask myself was, did I save a lot of money by using the library last year? Well, let's talk first of all about how I calculated my savings. So I made a little spreadsheet, which I might show to you here briefly, which contained all 56 books and which format it was in. To calculate savings on an audiobook, I compared it to my audiobook subscription. The audiobook subscription that I happen to use at the moment is Audible. I may change that in the future, I don't know. This Audible subscription, I pay $7.99 to get 1 credit each month. So in order to compare prices for an audiobook on the Libby app or the BorrowBox app, I put in $7.99 as the cost of an audiobook. And I feel like this is one of the cheapest it could possibly be, because if you don't have an audiobook subscription, audiobooks are really, really pricey. For each ebook, of which there weren't that many because I'm not really an ebook reader, I checked the current price at the time of planning this video, which was January 2023. I checked the current price to buy it on Kindle, just as a basis for comparison, because I don't actually ever purchase ebooks, so I don't know how much an ebook costs. And I only actually read these books in ebook format because they were easy to get hold of on Libby at the time. So for each physical book, just as a basis for comparison, I looked at the current price on amazon.co.uk. And this was just because it was an easy place to find out all of these books and how much they cost at the moment. I know that this would differ in shops. I know that this would differ on other websites. And of course, there are plenty of other websites where I could have put in this information. But that is where I costed them from, because I felt like this would be a price that would be sort of between the price I might pay if I bought something secondhand and the price I might pay if I went to a bookshop and bought it new. I generally just costed it as a paperback, but if I got a book out of the library that I knew was brand new and only available in hardback at the time I read it, I'm thinking, for example, of Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies and The Seven Moons of Marley Almeida, both of which I was lucky enough to pick up off my library shelves and be the first one to take them out. So I know that those were only in hardback at the time, and therefore I've costed them as hardbacks. To improve my ways of finding out next year how much I save by reading from the library, I am planning to use the library's actual figures. So I don't know about other people's libraries, but my library has a sticker in the back, and this sticker says the date that it was acquired and how much it was acquired for. I plan to list these amounts as I go along this year so as to save myself a lot of research time. So that is how I have costed these books. Obviously, some of these prices might have been cheaper at the time, they might have gone up now, all of those caveats. So I was aware that this would only give me a rough estimate of how much I actually saved, because the truth of it is, obviously, that certainly for some of these older books, I probably could have kept looking for them in charity shops, in secondhand bookshops, and might have got them for a lot cheaper. Alternatively, I might have spent my money in a lovely independent bookshop, which I did a few times this year, and I might have bought it full price. But those are the parameters that I used for this particular purpose. Now, there was one more factor to take into consideration when making calculations, and that is reservations. I would love you to let me know in the comments how reservations work at your library. You might have a different system completely. The system here in Kent, in the UK, is that you can make reservations on books that will be sent from other libraries in the Kent area. If you want to reserve books from a different Kent library, it costs £1 to do so. And I did this 14 times in the course of the year. I only did this when I needed a book for a project. So I think a couple of those were for my Time magazine project. I think a couple were for the Killer Reads Thriller Month book club run by AJ Dunn, whose details I will link in the description down below. And some of those were for judging the Booktube prize. I'll also link the Booktube prize channel down below. And some were books that I reserved because I wanted to read them for the women's prize shortlist. And some of them were also reservations that I made for Garb August. There were a couple of books I couldn't get hold of. I did spend £14 on reserving some books. These 56 library books that I borrowed cost me a total of £14. So I did factor that in, and I did take that off the overall saving. Even taking that into account, my roughly calculated, as explained, total that I saved by using my library last year was £431.20. £400. Think what you can get with £400. For those of you watching in the US, I have converted that number today, the day that I'm making this video, into dollars, and that is a saving of $525.68. If you're watching in Australia, that is $755.86. If you're watching in Canada, that is $703.39. If you're watching in Europe somewhere and you use the euro, that works out to about €486. Yeah, I highly recommend going to the library. It may not have helped me to reduce my physical TBR of books that I already own, but it did help me read a lot of books for free and a lot of books for only £1. And libraries continue to amaze me. I've always loved libraries. I've always gone to libraries from childhood onwards. And if you don't have a library card at the moment, or you are not a member of a library and you love books, I would urge you to go and join your local library. They are a place where you can have access to thousands and thousands of books. I think that's an amazing thing. I got access to 56 books last year for a cost of only £14. And I could have chosen not to spend those £14 and just wait until the book came into my local library. I find that pretty amazing. I am really excited to find out that I saved £400 on books last year. I just think that's a lot of money. So I will be continuing to use my library in 2022. As I've explained in other videos, I am on a 30 book challenge to try and read or DNF 30 books from my giant bookshelf before I buy any new books. And because I'm being hard on myself, I have said I'm going to try to only get out one library book per month until that challenge is finished, at least, because it holds up doing that challenge. But I will definitely keep £430 in mind when I am book shopping, because although book shopping is incredibly fun, it also can be expensive. So yeah, if you gain anything at all from this video, I hope it's that you go to the library to find out if they have a book. Or use the Libby app. The Libby app has been such a revelation to me this year, because I've been able to borrow so many new releases on audiobook and have access to them quickly. As you can tell from this video, I love the library. I highly recommend it. And the system that my library has as well is that you can actually search their online catalogue to find out which libraries have this book. I just think libraries are brilliant. If you haven't been to one in a while, why not go and stop by a library? There are a lot of books out there and you can get a lot of them for free. Thanks for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please do give it a like. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please do comment in the description down below. Have you ever worked out how much you've saved by using the library? And if so, let me know how much you did save. I'm sure some of you watching only get books from the library, and I think that that's a great plan because you can read books you're not sure if you'll like. You can read books that would otherwise be too expensive to buy. You can read books while they're still in hardback that you don't want to purchase until you see them in paperback. I'm getting too enthusiastic about libraries, but yes, saving £400 seems hugely worth it to me. I hope to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.